And Kelvyn Yeang, welcome to the waiting room.
Yeah,
Welcome,
man.
Good to
bro.
Welcome
be
to.
here.
Yeah.
So glad to be here.
All the way
What's
from
up?
Penang.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jauh tu, orang jauh
Swear to
eh.
the Bible, there's fucking more Penang people in this podcast than any other fucking city. More than
Yeah.
KL. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So now
Fucking
there's
everybody.
yeah, so
Penang, you've got two
half
people.
this chat now is Penang,
Yeah.
Penangites. Yeah. So
We've
I'm
had
the only none. You're Irish.
yeah, I'm definitely
You're
not from Penang.
international. You're international. Anyway, how's things, man?
Things are
Yeah.
okay, not too bad. Crazy, but yeah, like I said earlier, I'm
Mm,
just glad to be healthy.
indeed.
I should be thankful for the things that I have, and the things that are going on. But of course,
Nah,
we all
procrastinate.
know
It's much
things
better to
can be
procrastinate.
better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Things can be so
It
much
couldn't be
better.
any worse at the moment. The only way things could be
Yeah,
worse at the
once
moment.
is a
Worse,
new low. I
yeah,
think we never experienced this low. So now we're like,
worse is a
all right.
worse is a
Yeah.
full-on fucking military coup d'etat.
Oh,
That's the
we
only
just
thing that
found out the
happened.
worst ain't that bad. Or positively is the worst ain't that bad. You can still kind of stay afloat. Yeah,
The
but
funny thing is, when I am sure this is the same for most of us, at least, guys from my generation, we read about things like this as we are growing up, like we read about pandemics, and we read
yes,
about recessions and having no jobs and things like that.
yeah.
Here
The
we
shit
are, we're
we
actually
thought
living
boring
it.
in school, right? The
I don't
boring
know.
shit last time. Now you
I don't know.
realize that. Oh,
I grew up. I grew up on the border with Northern Ireland during basically what was a
oh
civil
yeah, even
war in the
more. You
eighties. Like
lived
yes.
in. Yeah,
this is
true.
this is a balls because then I was a kid and didn't need to worry about money. But now, like, I'm trying to just decide which is worse now
Yeah.
or bombs going off every week. And it was probably more fun when bombs were going off every week. To be honest with you, like it just
Yeah.
was.
I mean, you can gauge your expectations. It's kind of a certain way,
You
right? But this
normalize
one,
it
don't
as
know what the
well.
hell.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
another
you
bomb.
Yeah.
normalize it. Yeah,
Yeah,
normal.
it's great. Another bomb. Day off school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the day? Yeah, only one bomb today, not
Yeah, just
two.
one bomb today. It's great.
Okay.
Uh,
That's
But
how it
now,
was, though. That's
now
how
we
it
don't know,
was.
man. If
Yeah,
COVID was stocks, right, we'd be rich right now, man. The
I
numbers keep
know.
going up.
It's bad.
yeah, man.
Can we
It's
monetize COVID? Hey, that might be our way out.
Oh my gosh. You know what
Oh
you could
god,
do? But maybe you have already done that, Asmil, is you could write a song about it.
that's true. So yeah, that's just waiting. I'm just waiting how this
he's probably
drama
got
unfolds.
this fucker's probably got an album about COVID ready to go.
Oh yeah, last
He
year I had that
writes
EP.
this guy
Yeah,
writes
I did
songs
one.
really fast. This guy writes
Oh.
songs like
All
really,
of,
really,
we
really
know,
fast.
we know. It's a
The
ridiculous
garden
figure.
just grows lah. That's all lah.
And like every
Fertile
big
land.
event, he will WhatsApp everybody. Like he's got a new song ready for every big event out there. He writes songs so fast.
It's not
It's
even that
crazy.
it's not even that he writes them. People can write songs. He's got them recorded and ready to fucking go. They're just,
That's true. That's true.
they're
Technology.
just there waiting to go. Oh, here's one recorded and a video. These days it's all videos ready to go
Yeah.
as
So
well.
old habits.
Yeah.
So old habits become new habits, and
Yeah.
oh man.
Anyway, so Kelvin,
Yeah,
since
man.
we're talking about releasing and music, what has been happening with you lah musically? I mean,
Yeah,
with
man.
COVID and everything. Well, like what Asmil said, said earlier, this is a new low for a lot of us musicians, isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
So
man.
I don't think I'm in any more of a different position from a lot of other people. We lost all our performance venues. It's
Yeah.
gone. A lot of us have reinvented ourselves. Meaning doing something else other than music, to keep things afloat. So I believe it's pretty much I'm pretty much in the same sea like a lot of other musicians, but I did get some funding from Chandana. Those guys were
Cool.
very, very, very kind, and
All
from
right.
that I was able to stay creative. But
Mm.
I mean, when you look at the whole picture, the big picture, the whole ecosystem, at
Mm.
least for what I'm used to doing, I'm actually trying really hard to like get into the whole online streaming thing, but this is a new thing for me because I
Yes.
never had to do so much of that. we all
True.
just did our gigs, we played live, and we used to
Yeah.
have so many gigs,
Yeah.
and we could just like do live all the time, every other month, every other week,
Yeah.
and to just suddenly have zero from
Yeah.
that, it's like, whoa, it's a
It's a way of
huge
living too, right? It's a
change.
way of living. It's flesh and blood. It's different, right? Because you're now it's to a screen,
I know. Just not too long ago, Penang, last year, at the very end of 2020, when things got a little bit better before there was the downturn again, we had this streaming festival happen, in
Yeah.
Penang called the UA Music Festival, where Ingbok, I think some of you know this guy, like he actually organized the thing. So I mean, we operated within the law, so we could stream the show. So all the bands came to the venue and they performed to cameras. Now, honestly, tell you that's like the weirdest thing in the world. It's
Ayo.
like absolutely no interaction.
No,
It's like
you
it's a
get nothing
live
back at all.
performance, and you're
Yeah.
not performing to anyone but cameras.
Yeah. So you gotta play make believe, man. You have to go another level. You gotta play make believe.
I don't
Remember
know,
your
man.
first time jamming? Wow, berangan like,
It's-
you
it's-
know, you gotta make somehow you gotta make it fun for yourself, right? But it's tough, man.
It's essentially,
Just
it's essentially
robots looking at you, man.
it's musicians being reduced to TikTokers, and that's just bad because I don't think there's anything no harm. And if anybody does it here,
Oh, it's new.
I'm not going to
TikTok's new,
apologize for it because I don't think there's anything worse than TikTok. I think it may be the worst.
Sorry, there'll be something worse after this. There'll be something worse
I don't
after
know.
this.
I honestly think TikTok's the lowest common denominator invention when it comes to social media I have ever seen. Literal human beings sitting around actually thinking, how stupid can I act today to get followers? That's
Yeah, man.
literally what they're
Just
doing.
followers.
How
We're reduced to
idiotic?
that, man.
How idiotic can I be to get people to watch me being idiotic? And I mean,
We must change
it
the
is
course of
literally
evolution, man.
the
This is
dumbing
not right.
down of our species. Like, I mean,
Yeah, man.
this is
No, but get it or not? No, I'm not pissed off because it's good dumbing down of a portion of society, so that there'll be kind of like, okay, get out of my way. You guys keep on doing your thing. I can do my thing.
yeah.
But the
There
thing,
there is a truth in that, but like it's so
Yeah.
depressing. To
But it's
watch.
annoying, lah.
Oh.
there is a danger, to things like that actually, because we know
Yeah.
if you look at how things work today these days, everything goes by trend, right? Everything is a
Exactly.
trend.
It goes
So,
by analytics. Everything's analytics.
Yeah, analytics. Yeah.
So I think I see where you're going with this, Kelvin, because this may become the musical norm. That this
Yeah.
may be what people expect of
It
fucking
already
music.
is, man. It already is. Yeah.
It is, it is.
People expect music to be fucking 30-second clips of fucking people acting like morons. Music's fucked.
That's why I'm looking in the future writing nursery rhymes for like 3 years old. Because I've been listening a lot of that for the last 5 years, and
Yeah.
that sound is stuck. It's like you're listening an album,
I think you
Well,
got
the thing-
listening a lot of kiddie
the thing
songs.
one of the current trends right now is to have a 1 minute snippet of music. So I see
Yeah.
some guys actually beginning to do this, where they actually write and perform 1 minute
In
snippets
1 minute
of
songs.
music.
Yeah.
I mean, then we are going to be,
Do you know what this is? Do you know what it is? The fucking film.
can have like a-
No, this is the film Demolition Man. Do you know in Demolition
Yeah,
Man
yeah.
where the fucking
Yeah.
normal
Remember
music
they were
normal music is
computers, yeah.
banned. Normal music is banned, and the only music left is adverts. So it's only 30-second
Yes.
snippets of
We're
music.
living that, man.
Turn on the fucking Demolition Man. Idiots fucking writing 1 minute songs, and it's not even
So I
like
don't throw-
it's not even like the Ramones or Napalm Death who are as good 1 minute songs. It's fucking nonsense. No,
That's why it's a radio revival. Buy your own radio, play your own CDs at home. Don't need a robot do your playlist.
No, the thing is that a lot of us will be having to live through a lot of redefining. Like redefining,
Yeah.
like how do people define music and musicians? We are actually in a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
exciting time in a way, because things are getting redefined as we speak, and things are like changing. So I don't know if somebody has done it yet, but I foresee at some point there will be this guy. He will be the Instagram musician, and he would release an Instagram album where he will have like 20 songs in 20 minutes, and he calls that an album. That kind of thing.
yes.
Then
Yeah.
it one of the things that that I find myself asking myself is that, when we go into the whole definitions, define this, define that, like what makes a musician? Is it, is it wrong for me to disagree, with
Yeah,
what
No,
yeah,
society say about
no,
me? Who are you
no,
to
it's
who are
not
you to say
wrong.
yeah.
what's music and what's not music? That
Your
kind of thing.
instinct is entirely correct. That see
True,
that
true.
see that little gnawing feeling you've got in the pit of your stomach going, there's something wrong here with this. That's the
Yeah.
right instinct. You're right. You're 100% right. And the problem with Malaysians is you're way too passive aggressive. You should be calling
Yeah,
it
exactly. Passive
you
aggressive.
should be calling it what it is. Shit. That sounds like
Yes,
shit. It's fucking
yes.
shit.
Direct.
That non feeling
To,
you've got
to,
is 100% correct. That fucking word.
yeah.
What the hell is that? That's
Poli-
correct. Like,
Politeness and being middle
yeah,
of the road has its place, but
got
not
no
this, man. We
place.
got to be more direct, man. Just
There's
say
a
like, that
there's a
sucks.
definite distinction. There's a distinction between music that we all like that we call art, music, and entertainment. What they do is
Yeah.
entertainment. What we're involved in is music, and that's how I define.
Don't force me. Yeah, don't force me
Yeah,
into that. Yeah,
that's how I've always defined it. Like
yeah.
the
Don't fool me there,
complete
man. I'll pull
separation
you in
between.
too, che. You know.
Fabian's been really contemplative.
Contemplating. I'm
What
just
your thoughts?
thinking.
Processing.
No, no,
Processing a
no,
lot
Lot
of
of
things,
no,
lah.
lot of
no,
information.
Kelvin. This is Fabian on the podcast every week. Fabian sits there, and I guarantee you, 30 seconds before we have to go for a break, he's going to ask you a life-affirming question that's going to take about 4 days to answer. That'll never be answered in 30 seconds. Impossible to get answered in 30 seconds. But he'll do it because he does it every week.
Oh gosh.
It's just chemistry, lah. He knows when to, you know.
So Kelvin,
Correct.
do you do full-time music or do you work elsewhere?
Well,
Take us on your journey, man.
I
Yeah, tell us.
definitely cannot do full-time music anymore right now.
So what's your
So I
what's your
use-
what's your Charlie Macan job then when you're not doing music?
Okay, here's the thing. It's kind of like a miracle because from last year, from 2020, since the pandemic hit until now, I've been working on project basis for people here and there. So I've been doing a ton of like project-based jobs.
Okay.
I do writing.
Hmm.
I did copywriting for a bit.
Oh
I
God!
did graphic
Another copywriter.
design.
Another. I see. I told you. Everybody's a copywriter in Malaysia.
No, that's not everybody is a copywriter. It's just that you can earn money doing that. You do it lah. Correct, bro. It's not like I'm
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, we have the skill. Do it, man. Don't be hung up.
I mean, we got to do what we got to do, dude.
get-
You know,
Yeah.
Derek. We got to
Absolutely.
do what we got to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not what all of us want to do, or
Yeah.
prefer to be doing, but we still
Course.
have to be doing
It's
something, right?
it's just an ongoing running joke I've had for the last 7 years living in Malaysia. That when I
Yeah.
first moved here, the only people that I talked to who were musicians, what they did was copywriters or advertising. And prior to that, me moving to Malaysia, I had never met anybody in copywriting and advertising in my entire life. And now everybody I meet in Malaysia.
Probably 100 years ago would be minors, or would be
Yeah,
like
so it's just an
Bump into Panglima every time.
Just seems to be an ongoing. It's a running joke. That's why I always react when somebody says, "Oh, copyright," and I go everywhere.
But I must add, okay, there are silver linings to all of that. So
Yeah.
because I never needed to do all this, I never thought I would enjoy some aspects of what I'm doing now as much as
Yeah.
as it is. So after I started to do these things, like I got new experiences, I met new people, and I figured, hey, I could do this. I can do this. I could continue doing this. Actually, like there are some parts of it which I do like very much. I've been writing for a magazine as well, so they
Cool.
give me assignments, and I get to deliberate with them a little bit on what these assignments, the topics, that we are going to cover.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that I do have been afforded that flexibility to actually suggest some interesting topics, which many times, they have actually approved. So I get to meet more people and talk to more people and write stories about things that actually I care about and I like. And I think
Great.
that's great in a way. Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
magazine?
man.
Which
Yeah.
magazines are you writing for?
Okay, Penang Monthly Magazine is
Nice.
one, and I recently
magazine,
have,
man.
I just finished an article with the Penang Art District, so
Nice.
that would be coming up in a week or two, I guess,
Okay,
if,
cool.
if I read correctly. I interviewed some guy about Peranakan culture and how he was like pulling all his resources to preserve this thing that he really cared about so much.
Yeah.
So I get to actually meet all these people and
Yeah, their
interview
stories.
and yeah, and these stories are great because firsthand when you meet all these people and they are relating their life stories to you, that's excellent, man. I love that part of the job really,
True,
really
true,
much. Yeah.
true,
Cool.
true.
So
That's the
Kelvyn,
joys.
so I've been so throughout this whole session I've been thinking. See, when I first knew about you, this was back in college, and you were already with Oceans. Is Ocean still around? What's going on with the band, and maybe you can talk a little bit about Oceans also.
Okay, Ocean of Fire, we did disband, we just became dormant because everybody just, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, like, hey, man, everybody just wants to do a different thing.
True.
But,
Bands.
we're all good. We're all in good
Yeah.
terms and everything. And I'm very sure if needed, and we have a gig or something like that, we can definitely come back together to play.
So how did you?
But,
How did you
So it's
form?
always fun, man. Yeah, always fun playing with you guys, man. Several times playing Penang.
How
Fun,
did
good times.
Fabian, I
did-
must add this. I
Okay, go
must
ahead.
add this. The thing is that you mentioned about the band being active in college and everything, right? I mean, the thing now is that a lot of us all have our families of our own.
Yeah.
We're
It
creating
makes
colleges.
so
Oh,
I mean it's yeah old. I turned 40 this year.
Yeah.
Ta-dang! I turned
Still,
40 this year. Okay.
welcome.
you're still
Welcome to the
not.
club.
You're okay. You're still not the oldest on this podcast, so you're okay. You're not too
Yeah.
bad.
So what I must say is that sometimes when it comes to like writing and creating music, opportunities do not present itself so often anymore because we all have so many things to look after right now. Like all the members have families of their own. A lot of them have kids, and all of that, and their own businesses to run and everything. But if time permits, who knows? We can definitely come back and play again. Like
Yeah.
a lot of us are also operating by ourselves,
Yeah.
like we write solo albums and we produce solo music because it's just much easier to do that. And right now, COVID-19, and then we have like lockdowns for close to almost 2 years already. We're forced to work from home. We can't even
Yeah.
meet for a band practice or jam session. I
You can't
don't
even meet for a
see
drink.
exactly,
Yeah.
So that process, of being able to come together to write music,
Yeah.
which is something I miss a lot and something that I like. In fact, I feel that I operate better in that environment where we get to throw ideas around in a live situation. We don't get to do that anymore. So I mean, we have to be pragmatic sometimes and say like, hey, realistically, this isn't going to work out anymore. So we got to look for a
Yeah.
new way to do
Yeah.
things, and so hence this is the new way to do things. We release solo material, which
Yeah,
at
good.
least we can still do at home. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
on our own time.
So how did
Yeah, and
how
keep on
how,
creating, keep on creating. Yeah.
how did the
Yeah.
band how did the band form? Or
Yeah.
was it,
When did you actually start Kelvin? Like, how did you get into music in the first place? I mean, this is something we're supposed to ask at the beginning, but we just got straight into music.
Okay. Of course, every kid wants to play electric guitar. And
Yeah.
in high school, I was fortunate to be in a school where there were old kids that were already in bands and they were playing music. And I remembered that time OAG first came out. Okay, OAG. So they were the first band, to my
Yeah,
knowledge
man.
at least, to have a English song released on hits. Okay, to be played on hits. That made a huge difference for me because when I heard OAG through the airwaves, it's like, hey, this guy did it. He got his song out on the radio.
Yeah.
I think that's something I want to do. Maybe I
Yeah.
can do that too. And not long after that, Jason Lowe, and Juliet the Orange and all these new people, John's Mistress, they came out and they have a bunch of songs on the radio and on hits, which is like the most popular English radio station.
Yeah.
So I heard all their songs. In fact, sometimes I would be having the radio on just to
Tangkap the song.
yeah, just to wait for 60s TV to come on, because I really do like that song. And eventually we got hold of a cassette. Back then, we have cassettes.
I have the cassette, man. I bought it.
Yeah. And I actually learned some of the songs from it. I don't know if I can still play it, but for my very first gig in school, I actually played 60s TV. So,
Alright,
I
nice.
learned the song, man. I learned the song, I learned the guitar
All time lah.
solo.
Yeah, it's all time, man. 90, yeah.
So it started from there, really. And
What
just a
year-
bunch of kids.
What year are we talking about here? Mid-90s?
97 or 98. I think it's 1998.
Okay.
1998. Yeah, this was in 1998.
I was a few years ahead. I remember getting the cassette in 1990. When it came out? 95, 94, the album. I was blown away the same way you were, man. It's like, hey, one of us, man. It's something like that, right? Because these guys are, they're like us, right? It's like before that, so yeah.
Precisely. So, like something happened, something, it was very, it served as a catalyst because,
It always
I
does.
was inspired.
When
I
local,
was
Yeah, we never had that
because-
before. There was no role models before that. Betul
when a
tak?
local,
Before
when a local
that, we
kid,
didn't have a role
Precisely.
model.
yeah, when a local kid comes good, and especially a local kid
Exactly.
that you can identify
Yeah.
with, which is very important.
Exactly.
Because like you can have your Sheila Majids and stuff like that there, but they're in a they're in kind of like they're superstar sort of thing. Like you can't identify with a superstar, but the guy who's 3 steps away from you, who's like fucking someone who knows him, who comes good, and you can go, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Precisely.
Empowering.
And that's how a scene starts developing. Because
Exactly,
then people
yeah.
like yourself then starts thinking, I can do that, or I want to do that. So let's try and do that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
That's how scenes develop, and that's
90s.
a good thing. Like
Yeah, it was the 90s, man. That was the turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the,
So-
the,
so
90,
it- so
the
it
90s
started
was
there.
so
It
good for
started
that.
there.
So, for,
90s were good, yeah.
even back in Ireland was the same. The 90s were just
That's true, all the bands there.
melting pot of fucking
True.
inspirational bands, and then bands forming because of that. Like
They always hit good stuff, yeah. That's the thing. It's
Oh,
like
it was good times. Definitely, it was good times. I
Yeah.
mean, things have like changed tremendously, of course. But back then, it was so popular. I can remember so vividly. Like to play electric guitar and to play in a band, and band music was like completely dominating the airwaves. All
Yeah.
kinds of band music, not just alternative or grunge or the mainstream rock. It's like
Yeah.
every form of band music, it's just dominating completely. And you get bands in every corner, man. Like of
Yeah, man.
colleges and schools, and gigs were
Metal
plenty.
bands.
That's amazing. That
Yeah,
was
man.
such a good time, seriously.
yeah.
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 Mm.
That my band last time break. I remember I played at I think 96. We played a battle band, first band. And at that gig, there was a band that sounded so biji macam Pearl Jam from outside. And then the band that won was a Def Leppard band or cover band. It was
Def
a girl
Leppard
singing.
cover
No
band?
wonder but a girl singing, but she can hit these notes lah because she can hit the high octave. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
you need to have no balls to fucking hit Def Leppard
Yeah.
notes.
Intoxicated was there, So you had this mix,
I
man. You had the
remember.
band Def Leppard, I don't know, Pearl Jam, and Intoxicated is there, like these local indie bands,
Who
It's
are
like, wow.
intoxicated? Or
They were
what
this
are-
girl band first.
Girl band,
Like,
girl
Oh,
band.
really?
Yeah.
Yes, with Rina.
Rina won.
Yes.
Don't know.
And
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and she became a TV host after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like when bands like that, bands like Intoxicated, just like you guys said, very empowering. Because before bands like Intoxicated, really Malaysians, like we had very little examples to actually inspire and
Yeah, I
follow from,
understand.
to do
Yes, exactly.
that kind of like heavy music,
We were the
I mean,
same.
of course,
We
Sorry?
we were the same in Ireland because we were just
Same era.
essentially but we were going through a essential civil war, like, so no bands were touring, coming to Ireland to
Yeah.
tour, and it was so difficult. Like there was a few bands came through, and then there was like U2 was huge, but like they were completely different. And mid-90s there was kind of bands like Therapy and the Divine
Ah,
Comedy, and
me too.
there was a couple of bands in around our area who got a wee bit famous. But then
Mm-hmm.
I remember as soon as the Good Friday Agreement '96 happened and the war stopped, there was just an
Let's just
explosion. It was just
that's
an
true.
explosion. And then
Yeah,
once
who
I
let the
always
dogs
say,
out? No.
that's what it was. I always say once bigger bands start touring the country, it
Yes.
inspires the local bands to become fucking. They want to
Yeah.
do that sort of thing. So once
Yeah.
bands started coming to Northern Ireland, there was just an explosion of talent.
Yeah,
And
man.
that's what I always drives me mental about Malaysia. The amount of bands who don't tour Malaysia because of fucking Jack Keenum and stuff like that. They're fucking cancelling gigs at the last minute, so promoters don't want to put on bands. So
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
it is just it's putting handcuffs on the local talent because of they allow any sort of music to come and play here. The amount of talent that's going to explode in Malaysia is going to be. It may have been good in the 90s. It's going to be even better. Like now, like because you're just reigning in a people. The people are just being
Yeah, man.
reinvented. So that frustrates me about Malaysia. The fact that a lot of really good bands will never play here. Oh well, hopefully they will. Like, but they haven't been
Well,
allowed
they,
to.
they they came around for a while, like the late 2000, before 2010. We had big band come through, man. But I think after a while, we didn't have the mass, we wouldn't fill up, right? Stadiums.
We don't need
So
to
you get
fill up
this place,
stadiums.
smaller venues.
The best
Yeah,
bands,
never. That's why they play small venues only.
yeah,
The only
best bands come
stadium
through.
filling up is Genting, man.
Yeah.
The only one is in Genting.
Oh, Jesus. The Arena of Stars.
Yeah, that's the only one, man. I
God
can
bless
imagine we
it.
don't have
God
that
bless the
culture.
Arena of Stars.
Yeah, true, true. But I think we're in transition, lah. It's just that, there were good
Fuck,
times
it's
and
been a long
now
transition.
a long transition. We like to take our time here,
I've been here
As
7 years. I've been here 7 years.
Malaysian
Fucking
timing applies to Malaysian timing applies to development too. Yeah, yeah.
So, so Kelvin, when did you meet the other members of Oceans of Fire? How did you start the band?
Um, let me try to recall. Okay, so after getting into music and after playing music, I had a few interim bands before having that Ocean of
Yeah.
Fire, as a more serious thing. So I remember very clearly that I was at college, this college little gig that I did, it was kind of like a battle of the bands thing. And one of the judges, which is who is Faris. Faris asked me. He is Metal Asia's drummer right now today. So I mean, a very good drummer, and he was among the panel of judges, along with Sashi Kumar, and that guy, if I'm not wrong, he's a sound engineer that works with M Nasir as well. So these guys, they were the judges, and I was playing. So I guess maybe they saw some talent in me. And right after the show, Faris did ask me, hey, you know what? I wonder if you'd be interested in playing music together and maybe we can do something. He gave me a CD and said that go listen to this, it will inspire you and blow your mind. He passed me Liquid Tension Experiment, it's those Dream Theater guys, right?
Okay.
Crazy stuff. So I took that stuff back, I listened to it and did not hear from Faris again, ever.
Was it? Serious,
Never again.
Oh,
Never again. Until 1 year later.
Okay.
About
Oh.
a year later, he was going to participate in a band competition. Okay, it was the Yamaha Asian Beat thing, Yamaha Asian Beat band competition. So he was going to participate in this competition, and bands, right? Sometimes you have your own petty squabbles, within band members and everything. So like his own guitar player ditched him to go form another band to play in the same competition. So he
Oh
said,
man.
I need somebody to fill in, the role as a guitar player. We've got the songs, it's all been written. You just need to come in and play. So I said, okay, I'm just a kid anyway, right? Okay. And it was the first time I got myself into what I would believe to be a real band because all these guys, they have a lot of experience. These guys can play. They've played gigs while I've just played college and school shows, and these guys have played actual gigs, they are in the scene. I'm not. I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
So I have to learn so many things, but they were very accommodating and they showed me around. They took me around and it was the coolest experience ever. Because okay, um, you know how things were back then compared to today. It's We have a lot of improvement today in the area, in the sense that there are just more intermingling, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So back then it's we have like the racial communities. We have all the race communities.
Yeah,
Like
you're not only the factions of the race, but you had the factions of the actual the different types of music. You had the alternative kids, the punk kids, the metal kids, the Malay metal kids, the Chinese scene and stuff like that. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but the awesome thing was that I would always be the only Chinese guy in a completely, Malay dominated underground.
Oh, good.
And from Penang, and they do a lot of gigs in the mainland as well. And I get
Yeah.
to follow them, and they would introduce me to all these guys, all these gig organizers, and firsthand, I got to witness what a gig is like a punk gig or a metal gig, and I see the bands doing the music, and all these guys, I tell you, they write original music, which is the one thing that really like, whoa, so inspiring. All these guys write and play their own music. They don't do covers. They really just want to play their own music. And that was a real game changer for me, because
Light bulb moment.
yeah, I mean, because when I was in a school band, like school kid in a band, we play Green Day.
Rage Against the
We
Machine.
have fun. We play Semisonic. We jam with that. I mean, I learned OAG, and all. But here, suddenly, I have to learn songs written by local guys.
People you
and-
knew.
People you
Yeah,
hang out
people-
with and they're cool guys, Yeah, that's true. Huh?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
and it's totally so awesome, because all these other guys, in the scene, they are all writing music as well. And
Yeah.
some of these guys are like so talented, unbelievably talented and creative. And then you begin to see all these things and hear all these things that you've not heard from the radio before.
Yeah.
And that was a major stepping stone for me, because it taught me the songwriting process. So when we were jamming and when they were teaching me, all these guys, like Faris and all the seniors in the scene, when they were showing me the guitar riffs and everything, I actually got to participate in the songwriting process and actually learn from it. Okay,
Yeah.
this is how these guys write songs. They start here, they do this, and then they begin to show me things like, like you don't always have to play, in 4/4 time. You can change the tempo of the song. You can have different meters incorporated in songs. Like, oh, really? These are all new.
Nice.
I never had a formal music background, So I was never formally
Same
schooled
here.
in music.
Same here.
So I don't read music. I
Yep.
I can navigate a chart pretty well today, but I never really read music. I never really took it seriously. Although there was one period of time where I tried to put myself, my dad rather, classical guitar, just learn, and I got a bit from that, but that's about it. No formal training, electric guitar, everything. I did it on my own, and because of my friends who were constantly inspiring me. So
Okay.
Awesome.
pretty much, from the ground up. But I think this is not exclusive to me. I think a lot of guys pretty much did it the same way back in the day.
Yeah,
This is
man.
how-
We were all
Right,
same.
Right, Willie.
We're all same. We're going to have to leave it there for the first half of the show because we're about to run out of time. So the second half.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Second half, we'll continue the Oceans of Fire
Hold that
story,
thought. Hold that
and
thought.
and we'll get into you running the NDPG
Yeah.
festival as well, if that's okay. All right, and so 10-minute break, guys, and we'll see you
right.
soon. Okay.
All right.
Cheers. And we're back with
Alrighty.
part 2 of the Kelvyn Yeang podcast. Welcome back, Kelvyn. Thanks for sticking with
Yep.
us.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Just reminiscing about your studio, man. Oh, that was a nice
Yeah.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
That-
nice time. Yeah, but unfortunately, things have to run its course lah. So with COVID,
Yeah.
that's like a huge major spanner being
True.
thrown into the works of things. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
just can't wait for this to be over, really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, man.
So
Uh,
you
good
So
times.
you were the originator of the NDPG festival. How did that
Yeah,
come
Yes,
yeah.
about?
me and a team of people. So if you would like to know,
Yeah,
you
work out.
know, one day we just decided that, hey, we should get organized so that we can pool our resources and our abilities together, our expertise, and maybe
Yeah,
we can get the ball rolling. Because when it comes to putting any show at all, we know that there's a lot of logistics to look into, and sometimes it gets very, very monumental, to undertake any of these like tasks alone. So it's much easier to actually be able to do all this if you have a team of people that would be dedicated enough to run this. So we got a bunch of people together who really shared that vision, and together we actually put IndiePG together in partnership with Penang Performing Arts Center, which is a Penang Pack.
yeah,
So the
fact.
Penang Performing Arts Center, those guys, of course, were very, very helpful and instrumental in the development and the existence of IndiePG, because it helped us in reducing the cost of actually running a show. Because when we are in partnership with Penang Pack, I do not mind sharing this with you, because we are in a partnership with them. That means that we get the venue, and everything that comes along with it, and that is more than half the battle won.
Of course.
Then, other than that, if you can remember correctly, those who have participated at least in the first 3 or 4 installments of Indie PG, at that time, Penang Pack actually had a bungalow house that was that they provided for traveling performers. So all these
Ah,
guys can come and they have a place to stay, so they don't have to worry about lodging so much.
It's gonna be a
And that
fucking
helped.
orgy.
Haha,
yeah,
that's not
that's
allowed,
good.
of course. But who's to say what goes on,
Yeah, what
Yeah,
behind
happened?
yeah,
closed
yeah.
doors? But
What happens in
but I
Panam
would
Pack stays in Panam Pack.
I would advise
Yeah.
strongly against it, of course. Um, but anyway, when the performers from KL and out of Penang, when they do get to Penang, that helped a lot.
Mm,
That helped a
cost.
lot because now they have a place to stay, and
So
all
Yeah,
these bands,
all
most
the
of them,
all the
they're very
logistics,
cool
yeah,
and they're
place a
very
bunk,
chill
man.
people.
like one of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
major problems organizing any festival, because I used to do it as well back in Ireland, is logistics. And once
yeah,
Yes.
your major logistical problems is venue and place, and then organizing if you're getting bands from outside, organizing places for them to stay and stuff like that. There,
Mm.
if those two logistics are settled instantly, as you says, half the battle's done. Half the battle's done
Yes. Yes. Yes.
then.
And like sometimes, when you talk about uh, indie bands traveling, and a lot of these guys, they do it out of passion
Of
because they
course.
really love and believe in what they do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of money is actually involved,
yeah,
involved
man.
for sometimes you ask yourself, uh, all these guys, they come from so far, to perform at your festival, at your show. Mm, You need to at least, be able to help them in some way, to come alongside them and assist them in some of their financials at the very least. And that has always been a tremendous challenge for me and the team, from the EDPG team, because how do we make this work, and every year we will have to find some way to try to meet halfway with the performers. And as long as Penang Pack, had that venue to at least host the bands, that was very helpful because that made things a little bit easier, especially if we had to negotiate with bands, with our managers.
Mm.
That kind of like make it sound a little bit more workable,
Yeah.
at the very least.
So
Ma-
what year did the festival start?
The first festival, yeah.
Oh gosh, I cannot remember per se, but I can tell you confidently that I think we ran a total of 7 installments. The first year we did 2, so 7 installments means we
6 years.
ran for 6 years. So we didn't have one last year, the year before, no as well, and the year before that. I think we are at a hiatus for about 3 years. I think 2 or 3 years.
So you would have
So-
started, you started roughly about 2012, 2011, roughly around about,
I-
right, about that period.
Around there, I guess. I mean, it's
And
on Facebook.
who-
I need to check.
Who was
Check
the
again. I
first?
cannot remember offhand.
Was it was it a
Sorry for that.
was it a weekend festival or a 1 day thing? And who were the bands that you
2
had
days,
on?
man.
It runs on a weekend. It runs on a Saturday and then a Sunday.
Okay, so
But I
two-day
think
festival then?
in some years, I think we ran Friday and Saturday, if I'm not wrong. I can't
Okay.
remember for
But-
sure as well.
A 2-day festival.
Yeah, a 2-day festival, and
So, who played the
people
first-
can buy.
Who played the first year? Who headlined? Who's your big bands the first year you played?
First year, okay. Let's see. Offhand, let's see if I can remember. I think the first year, the very first time, let's talk about the bands out of Penang, okay? The bands that came from KL. I think we had An Honest Mistake.
Mm.
Okay.
We,
Good
we
start.
had we had Kiss Kill Marry. That
Ah,
was before
yeah.
before
I think I've-
Jen became.
I think I've heard of
But
them.
that's the band. Jen is in the comedian Jen before she
Yeah.
became a comedian.
Okay.
I always knew her as a performer first, or as a band musician first. So I think Kiss Kill Mary was one of them. And what else? It was very interesting because we have so many bands like over the years, over like all these lineups.
Any highlights?
can't remember.
Over the 6 years. What would be your highlights of the bands who played? Like, that you were
Or
like,
any
oh,
particular-
I
yeah.
think all of them were great in their own way, because when we chose the bands, when we curated the show for Indie PG, one of the most important thing to us was that every single band that we chose, could complement the flow for the night, so that we had something really, really different. But this
Okay.
is in no way that we are choosing based on how, because all the bands, when they submit their applications to the festival, they are all great, and it takes a very hard time to deliberate
Listen,
which
you
band
run
to choose.
you're running a festival. This is not some altruistic endeavor. You're running.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're running a 2 or 3 day lineup, it has to go on flow, and it also has to go on. Is this going to bring people to the fucking thing? So like,
Yep.
you never have to apologize for saying like, oh well we chose these bands based on
because
could
we-
they bring people? That's just
Yeah.
taking a standard that you're bringing bands because they'll attract a crowd. Like once you start doing gigs, the idea I'm just going to go on a tiny rant here, but the idea of punk rock ethos about we're going to be underground and we're going to be, once you start running any form of musical event, gigs, whatever it is, it's a business, and therefore you have
Yeah.
to run it like a business. That whole idea of fucking punk rock ethos, that ends straight away, because once you
Yeah.
put a pound figure on that gig, unless you're doing it for free, unless it's a free entry,
You gotta run it, man.
you got to run
Yeah,
the way.
you're right. Yeah.
But in all honesty, a lot of the submissions when they came in, a lot of them, they were all actually very, very good. So
That's-
when we
that's
chose, it's
good.
not because I always tell some of the performers, like it's not because we choose, because some of the guys, after feeling disappointed that we did not choose them, I think there was 1 or 2 bands, they actually wrote back to me and said that, I guess I'm not good enough,
There's,
But I told them that-
nobody more paranoid than musicians.
I mean, that's not true.
Aside from sound engineers are a wee bit more paranoid than musicians. We're very paranoid, but musicians are the most and infighting little fucking egotistical little people that you'll ever meet. It's always a conspiracy with a musician. It's always some sort of conspiracy. Oh, they don't like us. They're out to get us.
Business of emotions.
Oh. But
hey, I did tell them, it's like, it's really not like that.
yeah.
Because sometimes I just need you guys to understand, when we curate the show, we need to choose the bands based on what we are trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
You need to
sometimes we-
communicate to them. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
true.
we want a certain flow, for example. So we want one experimental band for this slot, and then we want
Exactly.
a more a friendly sounding band for this slot. But there are only so many slots,
I
and
used
then
to,
we need to choose one that we feel that it is going to be like in the flow with this year's direction, that kind of thing. So it has nothing to do with whether the band is good or good enough. It's more to do with the flow. So I needed the musicians to actually understand that part.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
you
think-
need to tell them. Yes. They think
think-
it's scene politics, nanti. Yeah,
Yeah.
betul tak? Yeah, it's like, no,
I think-
it's not about that.
I think the most important question is how many times did fucking Volatile play that festival?
I actually right now have I actually managed to find the profile in the
Okay.
PG, and it's right in front of me right now. So I have the information.
So how many
It
times?
started
How
in-
many times did Volatile play it?
Let's see. Volatile played. They played they played the second installment once, and then.
We're just simply messing with Volatile right now, man.
Doing publicity for that, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, oh.
I think a total of three times.
That's
They
not
played
too
three
bad.
times.
That's not too
Three
bad.
times, three times. I think 3 or 4 times, 3 times. I think. Okay, the thing is that like Volatile, a band like Volatile. Okay, Volatile is a ever evolving band. Okay, these guys, every single time
They're
you see them,
so
they
good.
have-
They're
they have something new,
good,
very
yeah.
new to offer. And you can ask Jamie, because Jamie works with me as well.
Yeah.
Very,
I
very
heard
closely.
you were her Sifu. Is that true?
Yeah, she's a great. I mean, I did not like teach her like please. I mean, she deserves all the credit.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
know, of what she has right now. I'm not gonna claim, but I did teach her some guitar when she was younger.
Okay.
But all that creativity and all that she's doing right now, okay, that's purely her own hard work, and
Jamie,
her
listen,
attitude.
listen, we all love Jamie. She's fucking amazing human being.
She has
She's
a great attitude. She
Yeah,
always
she's a
wants
great-
to push
Shout-
very hard
shout out,
to achieve things.
Shout out to Jimmy Gunter and the Volatile crew because we all love them. Like they are an absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
live band, absolutely
Yeah.
amazing live band. Like, and they're one of my favorite. And Sean's one of my favorite frontmen in Malaysia by a long distance. That guy can fucking. That guy's just got it. When it comes to a frontman, he has what it takes. Like
You sure you're not being biased, yeah?
me.
I mean, we give credit where it's
Irishman.
due.
I
I
forgot
think
Sean's.
Jim-
I forgot Sean's half Irish here. Yeah, there's maybe a wee bit of. But Sean has what it was called the red mist. Sean's got the red mist. There's certain singers who's got a red mist where they're
Red
in a
mist, eh?
the red mist where they're in the zone. You look at them singing, and anything else could be going on. They won't even see it because they are locked into the music.
Red mist. I like what they call.
There's
Red
there's a
mist.
few certain singers. Eddie Vedder's got the red mist. If you watch Vedder
mist.
on stage, he's got the red mist. Like, so Sean has the red mist. And speaking of rock stars, one has just decided to
Red
join
mist.
us.
Let's hope he's not drunk, lah.
And there he is. Look at him
Red
all
mist.
shiny.
What's up, lad, boys?
What's up?
Red mist.
Hello, how
Red
are you?
mist.
I'm good.
Just
How are you,
calling some
Kelvin?
red mist.
Ladies
I'm
and gentlemen,
surviving.
we are
I'm
privileged.
surviving.
We're
I'm still alive.
privileged to be in the presence of greatness here.
Guys, sorry. Duty
mist.
calls.
Friend James the
Tapa,
Cruz.
you made it.
Hey,
Slant-
thanks. I tried. I was like doing my show.
I have
and-
coffee.
Nice,
and,
man.
Then I was watching. I was monitoring the live feed, and then there's a Zoom call coming in. I was like,
Chill.
I couldn't even answer it. But yeah, good. Did we just kick off the second round?
It's been about 10 minutes,
Yeah.
10 or 15 minutes.
10
All
minutes,
right,
yeah.
cool.
Second half already
I get-
still goalless. No
Yeah.
goal.
So we just got
Yeah.
into the whole Indie PG talk,
Yeah,
and then
man,
we were
it's
talking
still-
about the bands that played at Indie PG, and Kelvin
Nice.
was telling us,
By the way,
how many
let's
times
also-
Volatile
let's
played
also-
it.
Has anybody here played in
Wait, I just
PG?
I also want to talk about the 2 times I sent my application. Yeah. Woo! I'm just kidding, Kelvin. I'm just kidding.
Kelvyn just
But-
Kelvyn just finished talking about where he had to reject people who, and I'm getting paranoid fucking emails from people going like, I guess we're not good enough to play and stuff like that. was that you, Brendan?
Here's the thing,
No.
Brandon, and all the guys, like there was, I think, there was a few years, I actually handed that portfolio to do band, relations to Jamie actually,
Oh, so it's Jamie
and
Gunther's fault. So we can
no,
blame
no,
Yeah,
Jamie.
no, 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 no,
Let's blame
no,
Jamie.
no, no, no. Well, what I'm trying to say that you can also, she is so very in the loop of the process, the process, and it's a very, very difficult process. Really,
Yeah,
it's
and
so tough.
I also heard from her actually because she was the one who encouraged me to sign up for the second time that I had already submitted 1 year ago or 2 years before that. Then she was like, "Hey, Indie PG said go and send." So I sent, and she also told me like the ridiculous amount of submissions you all got, and so I understand how that can be.
So is anybody
Yes,
here?
it is.
Has anybody in the waiting room played NDPG?
I
No,
tak
I
pernah.
haven't.
Because different. I was doing other stuff. Yeah.
You played Asmir?
Kelvyn.
No, I never played.
Oh.
The only reason why I think I've never submitted to EDPG at that time was because it was always I always saw it as a big band festival, and at that time I
Okay.
was still playing solo. I didn't have a band yet.
Yeah, I was
Um,
doing the same also,
Yeah.
So even if whenever I didn't get a response from any festival or what, I always put it down to, hey, very few people who get sent on stage for these things are solo anyway.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, no,
So
it's very different
it's
occasion.
very different lah.
very different occasion, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and after a while, you also see like like what was the other festival? The Island Music Festival.
Island
the
Music
Penang Island
Festival, yeah.
Jazz.
Ah, I did
Ah.
Penang Island Jazz though because they
Yeah,
had.
that was fun time, man.
I did with Asmir also because they had multiple
It's a different setup
stages.
lah altogether.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah,
kind of
and there
festival also.
were stages that accommodated like singer-songwriters and solo, so it made sense. But like Island
That-
Music Festival, you also as a festival organizer, you want acts who are going to, give you the island vibe, give you a dance vibe. You don't want Brendan De Cruz to come there and sing some sad songs,
Well,
Eh, no lah.
we shouldn't say that.
All
Actually,
love songs, all bar songs are sad songs, man. Come on, man.
I really wanted to
Make me
do.
want to drink.
I really wanted to do a party in the park concept for one of the indie PG years,
DPG. Yeah.
but I couldn't get the resource to actually pull that off, and I would say never because it is something that I have approached some people to talk about this a few times actually, but every time when I want to do it, something happens. For example, COVID. So coming back to indie PG, and since we are having this talk, and we have like a group of people, usually it's about 5 or 6 of us, where we will sit down and discuss every year, like what is the direction of that year on how we are going to select the bands or how we are going to craft the show. So for some of the years, we wanted an experimental sound, so we gave a little bit more priority to bands that sounded weird or very out there and very different. I think that was the year where we had bands like Golden Mammoth and All Play. We actually had a very experimental year. And then we have a year where we also have very heavy music, and the first time indie PG actually had a death metal band, actually playing. So it really depends on what we want to do.
No, but that's
on
great.
that year.
But that's great because it's curated,
Yeah.
lah.
Yeah.
That's
it's
why
curated.
it's important. Yeah. That's more meaningful than just, yeah.
So
I think
I
as well-
actually proposed a party in a park concept up
Oh.
in
Okay.
people before. It's going to be in a different venue. Of course, it's out from Penang Pack, where you sit down, on blankets and little bean bags and stuff, and we get nice warm lighting and everything, and people listen to more what they call
Nice,
that, more
nice warm lighting.
acousticy.
It's Malaysia. The fucking sun's going to do all the warm lighting. You fucking, the fuck you talking about?
Night, of
Nice
Like,
warm
course,
lighting.
Derek.
hard,
Night,
hot
night,
Oh,
lighting.
night.
Oh,
Hard,
night. Oh,
hot
sorry.
lighting.
Night.
In
Oh, sorry.
Malaysia,
I
it's
didn't
very
hear.
hard.
man.
I didn't hear the night thing. I just heard nice warm
It's
lighting.
very hard to pull an outdoor
Goddamn
show.
sun.
It's very hard to pull an outdoor show locally in Malaysia. You know, in
Yeah.
the
Stop,
daytime
man.
because of the,
Yeah.
because
Are
of the
you-
heat. You know.
No,
Are
but
you,
a
free
show
to
like that would
talk
be great.
about- Yeah, are you
Sorry?
free to mention where you thought you were going to have this in Penang, or
I
would
cannot,
you
I
rather
cannot.
not? Okay.
I cannot,
Ah.
but I can talk to you about it after the show. You know,
Okay. All right.
because we have discussed this a few times with the curators of the space and everything, and they said, yeah, you know, they're very open to proposals and stuff. But then, you know, COVID has to happen, this has to happen,
Yeah.
that has to happen.
Yeah, man.
That makes
What the
it
fuck?
very, very hard. So
Yeah.
actually, if you're wondering, you know, like I am a person that is always very open, you know, very open. The whole idea behind Indie PG is that, you know, you have to be so open to try different things and different artists and
Yeah.
you know, have
Yep.
something that is very, very unique and different every single time to offer to people. You know,
and that also closes off the criticisms that anybody can have about your creation of the NDPG,
Yeah, that's true.
because usual criticisms of most festivals and most things like that is, oh, it's always the same bands play. But if you're doing stuff like death metal band or experimental bands, then people can't say, oh, they're just getting the same bands. They play all. It's just bands from big bands from here, there, and
Yeah, Indie PG has been the most
Unique. More
the
unique
most
that way. Yeah.
versatile, in
Diverse. Diverse.
yeah, correct. The most diverse in comparison to things like Island Music Festival and
No lah, the Penang Island was
also
quite diverse.
okay lah. Actually, Island
What?
Music Festival was good also.
Penang Island was good. Yeah, and they were
No,
trying
not-
something
not-
different lah.
Not
Or
not
Island, or
independent.
different one, or this one
Island
Island
Music
one.
Festival,
Oh,
the one
okay,
that was off Terengganu.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yes.
This was the one with like Talita, Kaya. I think the last one was Zainal Abidin and a bunch lah. But yeah, Indie PG always has a vast list also on top of that. It's quite.
I remember there was this one
Yeah,
year, I think they had IndiePG had like 2 stages. I think that was quite crazy. Like
I think let me check the NDPG. I think the last few NDPG we stuck with that concept of having 2 stages.
yeah.
The last
Ah.
three or four NDPGs, I think the last 3 NDPGs we stuck to having 2 stages because that concept not only worked, it helped with the band changes
That's
so
true.
Yeah.
well that it
Yeah,
allowed us
more
to
musician.
actually squeeze more acts or have the act transition better.
Faster.
You know,
The-
because
Yeah.
unless you've got
Can
your
just end and start, man. Yeah, that's true.
unless you've got your gigs nailed down pretty well, or when you're running a live show, and unless you've got your changeovers nailed
That's true.
unbelievably, and unless you've got a world-class stage manager who will control the musicians
Yeah.
on a one
That's where
stage.
Jamie comes in, actually.
On a one stage,
Yeah.
on a one stage
I've
changeover,
had-
it's a nightmare. A one stage
I-
changeover, it's a fucking nightmare. It
I've
is a
had many
literal nightmare.
conversations with Jamie about the first time y'all did the 2-stage thing, and she talked about the
Logistics of it.
the bumps that happened along the way. This was also, I think, when Volatile tried to do like a 14-piece or 15-piece.
What was it?
Yeah,
Wow.
they went full on. I think like it was quite crazy. Jamie was telling me about it.
Broken
Stupid,
social
stupid,
I think Jamie was
stupid.
stage manager as well for
Wow.
that, right?
yes.
Stupid, stupid, stupid.
I mean, Jamie actually got to learn, as with a lot of us, we got to learn from the very first few, because how it started, you know, at least for Jamie anyway, she started as a volunteer when she first started out. And then, if I'm not wrong, she was put under Reggie Singh's profile. And Reggie is a very fierce stage manager. And I will always remember this incident where Darren, from An Honest Mistake, actually, he came late for soundcheck, and Reggie actually denied him the soundcheck. and
Nice.
Darren
Wow.
was actually shocked. I was shocked
standard
too.
in Ireland. That's standard in Ireland. That's what I
There
used
you
to
I'm
go.
do.
not.
Wait. How late
I
was he though? Do you know?
Reggie is like that. Reggie is like when he expects you to be on the dot. You know,
Yeah,
if you're not on the
Okay.
dot, then
exactly.
we don't want to be waiting. So he will
Yeah,
put another artist
absolutely,
on to take the time. And
Yeah.
you
absolutely.
know, I don't advise. What I do is I don't like to micromanage really. So like
I don't know.
I
You
me
tr-
my
you
my role in
you
DPG.
trust the people to do their job well that you've
Yes,
got.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's good.
yes.
That's good.
My
That's true.
role in DPG, I do marketing. Most of the time, I do
Okay.
marketing, and then I do the graphic design, and then I do relations. So basically, I talk to people. You know, I get parties interested in coming into the festival. That's what I do,
Okay.
And you make
and
parties.
and I
Yeah.
make parties. Yeah, that's my part. Reggie actually handles stage management,
Yeah.
and he is a very iron fisted guy when it comes to discipline. So I
Good.
can remember, you know, that day, you know, he actually denied Darren. He actually denied Darren the
As he should have. As he
yeah,
was well within his
and
rights. He's well within his rights.
I'm not gonna tell him how to do his job. You know,
I have
I
no problem.
it came as a shock to me. It's like, okay, you know, we've got guests that actually come from KL, you know, to play at our festival, whatever. Maybe we can be afford to be a little bit nice, but you know what?
Yeah.
I am
Wow.
not going to tell how he does his job because that's his portfolio. He does his thing. I
Yeah.
just do my thing. You know, I do my
It,
thing. I get the
it's
marketing
it's
thing done. I get
it's
the
very
relations thing
it's
done.
very simple. What time was you? What time were you told your sound check was for? Did you agree to that? Yeah. What time is it now? 4:30. Okay. Fuck off.
Yeah, man.
It's really that simple.
Exactly.
It is really
Yeah.
that simple. And if you can't
That's
handle
true.
that, tough. Like
It's tough,
I
man.
like even today I tell off some of the like I work with like some of the really big musicians here in Malaysia, and they know don't be late for me because I
Yeah.
will tell them off. I just go like my
For
time.
anything also.
Shouldn't,
Yeah.
man. You
My
shouldn't be
time,
late.
my time
Should
is just
never
as
be late.
valuable. My time, the crew's time, is as valuable as the musician's time. It just is.
Exactly.
These guys have been waiting for you because they want to go and eat once you get done.
Yes.
Can you be here on time, please? It's just very simple.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
you know
people
what?
just hang around.
Yeah.
But at the very end of it all, you know, everybody had a good laugh about it. You know, Darren and Reggie and all together as well. You know, we laugh about it, and Darren agreed. You know, and it was all good in all good spirits. You
Yeah.
know, and I felt
Good.
what he
Yeah.
did. He Reggie laid down a very good foundation for all
Yeah.
others to actually
Yeah.
follow by example.
Absolutely.
Culture. It
And
becomes a
Absolutely.
culture. Yeah, important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the way the culture should be in
Yeah.
Malaysia. If you're not on time, you don't sound check. Tough.
Yeah.
Your sound
Very
check
true.
will,
and
your sound check will be the line check before you play. Done.
Yes.
you're right. So
Yeah.
Jamie got to learn, you know, firsthand from all these people that were doing
Yeah.
before her firsthand. So she actually, if I reckon, you know, if I hand to Jamie right now, you know, and just say, hey, you know what, run the festival. I think she could do it without a
Oh
problem at all.
no.
Because
Like
yeah, she's
I would trust Jamie Gunter to do a
Yes.
lot of things. Like
Yeah. Correct.
she's
she's
been through the whole
reliable. She is reliable.
for the whole indie PG. I think for the so many years that she's been there, I think she's probably seen how most of everything is done,
Yeah.
and she's learned all of it as well. And I think that is very important because you know what, we always need to constantly empower and train younger people who are interested
Of course.
to
Of
do
course.
all
Of
this,
course.
to know how to organize and
Continuity.
event.
Yeah.
So you can have some continuity there as well. So
Yeah.
they need to know, you know, how to run and how to make decisions, especially
Absolutely.
damage control. So I remember there was one year, you know, we overlooked one thing, and then one of the band managers made a fuss because it was completely our fault that we overlooked one very important thing to do with lodging. So you know, like Isaac was running the thing as well together with Jamie. So I had to pull them aside and say that, okay, guys, listen, you know, we have to do damage control. So this is what we got to do. You know, we don't get into fights. You know, we don't get into arguments. We contain the situation. Everybody walks away happy. So, you know, we talked a little bit and we worked it out with the manager that in the end, everybody was happy and they did the gig as well. So, yeah, that was good. So,
Good.
I think
Cool.
things like that
Situation for
very,
everyone.
very important for
Yeah.
people to learn, not to just learn how to run a festival, but when it comes to damage control,
People skills.
Oh yeah.
People
it's
skills.
very
Yeah.
those are
People
things
skills.
very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay,
Soft skills.
Kelvin. Well, thank you very much. We'll come to the end of the podcast. Like, so it's been a
Fantastic,
great
man.
talk.
Good.
Brendan won't know
We can
anything
go
about
on
this
forever,
because he's only
but
been
yeah.
in about 2 minutes.
Yes.
Like,
Hey,
In the future, we have this
better
on
late
special.
than never.
Yeah.
so for some reason, Brendan looks like he's in a Michael Mann film now because everything's green. Everything's fucking green.
Michael Mann film. Oh
Then
yeah.
Got that
I
green tone
experiment
going
with the
on.
lighting. My shirt's green. It's all
Your
right.
skin's
He's
brown.
in California.
Everything's working well for you there. So,
He's in LA.
Kelvin, usually for the last minute of the podcast, we give the guest a minute to shout out what he's got coming up in the next year or what if you've got anything coming up. So the last minute's over to you. So let us know what you've got coming up.
Okay, I've got so many things actually planned
Good.
and want to do actually, and I'm very sure there are many musicians and parties who are willing to come alongside me to actually make a lot of things happen. But it's all still, we are all still at the mercy of COVID. So
Yeah.
as long as we have this looming over us, I'm afraid that we need to put everything aside for the time being, especially when it comes to live performances. I mean, health first, of course, and we certainly do not want to be contributing to the numbers, the escalating numbers right now.
Yeah.
So we want to be safe. We do not want to be criticized negatively as well. So of course, all of that will need to wait. But that said, I believe that the community, one thing that is good would be there are a lot of things creeping up online right now that I think a lot of people should really learn to get into. Chandana is one of them. My Creative Ventures is one of them, and they're giving out a lot of all these free funds, to help you produce albums and stuff. And I'm one of the beneficiaries as well, and very very happy. On the 14th of this month, I'm actually releasing a music video as well. Also because
Congrats.
it's powered by Chandana.
Yeah.
But not
Congrats,
not
man. Congrats, man.
only. Thank you very much. But not only that, there's like Anugerah Jora Indie. Did I
Yes.
say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abu
And
Indie.
I feel all these platforms they're not really explored enough by a lot of local people just yet, because I myself came to know about this a little bit on the late side. So I believe there might be so much more things out there to actually explore, and in terms of things that you can participate and be a part of, because we can't be doing anything live online, but these are things that we can still participate from the comforts of our homes, and I think we all should. And I think last but not least, if I have anything to say with all the music people out there, I think this is the perfect time to really explore and look into collaborations, because man, you really don't know what you can do until you try it. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Kelvin,
Correct.
thank you very much for being our guest tonight on the podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
bro.
Sorry, I was late, Kelvin.
It's all right. It's all right.
So be safe, and Kelvyn Yeang podcast over and out.